Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You got your MPG
Miss, you need, we got the.
We got the MPG.
Never mind.
Yep.
Never mind.
We're good.
Thank you.
Okay, next is number 10 on the agenda, discussion and possible board action on the executive committee's recommendations on the grievance panel's January 2nd, 2014 report. This was sent out to you folks. I hope you've had an opportunity to read it. Anthony did a masterful job in putting together both the original grievance, the recommendation from the committee, and then the executive committee's recommendation as to how to handle the grievance panel's recommendation. I'm going to, before we have a motion on this, I'm going to allow public comment. Yes,
Mr. Boubet, public comment is after the motion has been made and before it's voted on, because public comment cannot be made on a motion until the public knows what the motion is to make their comment.
Well, you probably will. All right, so let's have a motion.
Before we do that, can I just note that in the summary which I created, a couple of administrative, a couple of corrections have been pointed out to me in the board, in the executive board recommendations for grievance number 1. Item 1 should say at least 72 hours prior to meeting, not 24 hours. That was a typo. In the second, in grievance number 3, it was pointed out to me, and maybe you may have to help me with this one, that the business improvement district, in fact, is subject to the Brown Act. So that statement that none of those are subject to the Brown Act, in fact, is not true. And just as clarification.
That is true. We found out subsequently that the business improvement district is subject to the Brown Act.
I don't think it makes a material difference, so I didn't want to step over that.
All right, do I have a motion to accept the recommendations of the executive?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Moved by Mr. Matthews, seconded by Mr. Mansky. All right, now we'll open to public comment. Mr. Kuzman, I'll give you 2 minutes.
Yeah, sorry for holding up the cell phone. The battery on this one's going dead. My only objection is that the executive committee recommendation report was not available with the agenda for tonight's meeting, nor was there a link to said document on the Neighborhood Council website. This is a document I heard you say was sent to all the board members already. I don't know whether it was sent to them 72 hours before this meeting or not. If it was, it should have been up for us to view. Because of the way the Brown Act is written, I just have to say then, as a result, I believe that the language on the agenda item 10 is insufficient to give the stakeholders information about this item.
Thank you. Any other public comment on it? All right, seeing none, we'll open this for discussion. Anyone want to speak on this? First of all, in favor? Mr. Matthews.
Let me speak on it just to summarize. So, just for those of you that don't know the history of this, Mr. Kuzman over here filed a grievance back in, was it September or October, Mr. Kuzman?
October 3rd.
And as a result of that grievance, we convened a grievance panel according to our bylaws. The grievance panel met a couple of times, worked very hard. They came back with a series of recommendations which were presented to this board. There were so many recommendations, being 37 grievances, that we Dave opted to propose that we send the whole report, the grievance panel report, to the executive board, which is 4 of us, just 4 of us on the committee comprised the executive board. We held an open meeting to discuss the grievance panel recommendations, and those then we came up with the executive board recommendations, which we're now presenting to the board, meaning that we've gone through and thoroughly discussed it. So what the motion on the floor is tonight is to accept these recommendations, and which are all listed in the various right-hand columns on all the pages, as to how we're going to disposition all of these grievances.
All right. Anyone in opposition? All right. You have a question, Cindy?
I just want to thank Anthony for spending a lot of time and effort in putting together the board, the grievance board, and also preparing this. I think he did a great job.
All right, we're ready for a vote. All those in favor, and I'll take an aye, just an A or an A on this. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Other than the chair. All right, the motion is unanimous, the chair abstaining. And we're going to go to number 11. Mr. Kuzman subsequently has filed a second grievance, which he presented last month at the meeting orally, and then followed up with an email. And in consultation with the city attorney, we have prepared a response, which you all have seen. This is a 3-page response. Upon advice of the city attorney, Mr. Schmidt, the vice president, is going to sign this and give it to Mr. Kuzman. But prior to that, although this is absolutely necessary, according to the city attorney, I'd like to have approval of this response by the board to Mr. Kuzman. So, I'm going to make the motion myself and ask for a second. Seconded by Cindy Wu. I'm sorry, Kristen. I thought I heard you speak. I was looking down. All right. So there's a motion on the board, and I will now open this for public comment. Yes, Mr. Kuzma, 2 minutes.
The first public comment is, again, the same as the last one. This doesn't even say in the agenda what that grievance was about. No specific language at all for other stakeholders and the public to know what was really being discussed. And the fact is a grievance was filed, so therefore the neighborhood council should have followed its bylaws in handling this grievance, which meant that a panel should have been selected. It should have gone to a panel. The panel would make a recommendation, and then the board can do it. I do not believe that the board has the right to dismiss this grievance without going through their own bylaw grievance procedure.
Thank you. And I'll just comment that, again, this was done in consultation with the city attorney. City attorney's advice is that we do have the right to dismiss the grievance. We believe it does not have merit to go to the grievance panel. All right. Any discussion among the board members? Well, I'll ask for any other public comment first. I see none. Discussion among board members.
Just to relay this to Mr. Kuzman, if it had been sent to the bylaws committee, which I am the chair, it would not have come back to this committee for at least 3 or 4 months, because anything that the bylaws passes and brings recommendations we bring back to the council has to be voted on. Then it has to be further sent to the board of to Dunn. Dunn then has prerogative. Remember, we're not the only council. There are 95 other councils. They will often take as long as 3 months before those bylaws are then ratified by the neighborhood, by Dunn. So for anything to happen, you were talking about anywhere from 4 to 6 months from now. So that would have been impossible. Plus that, this council would not have had the opportunity to even have talked about these bylaws at this time. So again, we won't be doing this. The bylaws will not be changed until the next board is seated and the next bylaws committee is seated. So just to clarify what you don't understand, Mr. Kuzman, how the process works. We cannot put things in our bylaws and then just run with them. They have to be approved by Dunn.
All right. Opposed? Anyone opposed? All right. We're ready to vote. And again, yes.
I do. The first grievance was 37. The second one is 4.
Well, this response is specific to Mr. Kuzman's submitted grievance last month.
Right.
Okay? The previous response, which we've already disposed of, was to his first set of grievances, which were filed in October of
I
last
just
year.
wanted to show the quantity leaks going down.
Nice observation.
All right. I'm calling for a vote. All those in favor, this can be a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
I have to abstain.
Dunlap abstains, Cindy Wu abstains, anyone else? All right, and the chair as well. So that's all but three, Anthony. And I think we have 18 here,
We have 18 here, yes.
so it'd be 15, 0, and 3. All right,
Well, I'm not gonna do the count, because we did a voice.
That's a
vote.
voice vote, all right. So, okay. That concludes the board items. We're not going to have committee reports tonight. And so we are going to move right into the board member comments, announcements, items for the next general meeting, and committee meetings. And I will start with you, Bonnie Burst. Okay. Bob Luzak. Bob Hudson. Gina Greshner.
Thank you for all your service as president. It was really great having you helm this organization, and it's a shame to see you go.
They're here. Cindy Wu.
Thank you for all your service. It was my first year you were the president. I always complimented on how well you run the meetings, especially sometimes when I go to other different councils, and it's always different. And so I always compliment on how well you did, so thank you.
Thank you. Krishna.
I'm sorry, I just got back.
Yeah, we're just asking for any comments or agenda items.
Announcements.
Yes.
I just want to congratulate everybody who got reelected and the new board members. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Joel?
Well, not to be a man of few words. We gotta be out of here by midnight.
Yeah. Brad made the request.
Okay. I didn't run for re-election because of personal issues and business issues, and it was very hard to make that decision. What it came down to was one of two things. Either I ran and did very little, and that's not the kind of person I am, or step aside and let some new blood come in who can carry the ball and go dedicate their time and service in my replacement. You know, I don't have a big foot, so you don't have big shoes to fit. But I know that judging from the people that I've seen running for office, we've elected some very, very good new board members. I also want to say that last night I had the opportunity, actually, which was work related, to go to another neighborhood council. This is in a different council district. This is the one that I work in, CB5. And I saw another neighborhood council meeting. First of all, no flags and no flags. No food, you know, we're kind of, as Jewish people would say, Hamish here. We like to feed people, you know.
For this one.
Yeah. And then I kind of like got blown away when they started talking about how much money they have spent when the treasurer's report came out. They have spent less than $5,000. Oh my God. They've committed to the one big fundraiser they have, which is a bike rodeo, which they figure is going to be about 10 grand. So after the meeting, I went up to the president and I said, "This is all you're spending?" And he said, "Well, we got a couple thousand grand here and there." And in the whole meeting, here we are in March, in their whole meeting, there was not one request for any expenditure, anything in there. So we've done a hell of a job. And I used to think, oh my God, we get to March and we haven't spent all our money. You know, boy, are we behind the ball. But they really, you know, in comparison, you know, we are the best. When it comes to spending this money, the only thing I always look at is recognition. Our new board member here as Renee said, that when he went out, to get votes, and he started talking about neighborhood council, you know, nobody really knew. And that is a problem. So we really should work on getting recognition for what we do. And I look forward to still being around. I'll come and do public comment. But I wish you all well and good luck and continue on with the great work we've been doing here. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Debbie?
Well, I'll make mine short. I also did not run, but I want to welcome everybody. You're going to have it's a great team. I'm going to miss everybody on the council here. Congratulations, Dave, and having fun with better things. Not better things, but, you know. I also
That's
felt
the
like I
last
was
time
giving,
I'm gonna see you, Dave.
I was spread out too thin, so giving 10% to somebody was not really doing it for me. And I have too many things on my plate to really function and do anything. I can complete anything. But I plan to come back as a stakeholder and I think I can do more as a stakeholder in projects and then on the council at this time of year. So that's pretty much where I'm going.
Mr. Dunlap?
Of course, goodbye to the people who've been on the team. You know, it's always been great to work with, especially so many of the people we're losing are just so key, especially you, buddy. We ran at the same time. We came in at the same time, so we were always kind of friends, and it's going to be sad to see you go, but I know you'll be around. And then welcome to the new board members. One thing I do want to say as far as in regards to outreach, I know when people say outreach, they're not referring to me directly, so I shouldn't take it personally. I might, just for fun. And then referring to Granada. One of them is that with the signage that we put up, we have twice as much exposure than we used to have. We do give out 11,000, somewhere around 10 to 11,000 newsletters. What I do know about when you go to the people out in the city and they say, oh, we've never heard of you, and then you start digging a little more, oh yeah, you guys are those guys. So I mean, their first reaction is kind of, because when we were doing the food truck nights too, we were out there, Dave was out there during the movie nights. We used to really be out there hustling with flyers and information, just volunteering our time to get the word out, especially when the food trucks were like in the daily news and they were giant. There were like 60 of them. So we have made efforts. I do also want people who are here and oncoming council members to understand that the size of the meetings does not mean that the people don't know about us. So we've had meetings that are huge after giant outreach campaigns. What normally happens is, in the case of this council, unless someone needs money, which makes sense, or if someone has a problem, like a tree, during the windy season when trees are falling on people's houses, or sidewalks needed grinding, which we worked with both of those, there's going to be a large, amount of people who showed up. But don't let the indication of the room, because I got fooled by this. I'm like, it should be packed every time. And then I'm like, it's not football. People don't want to be here. It's not interesting to everyone. Bylaws are not the most fascinating thing for everyone. So it's not the representation we have here is not necessarily an indication of what our outreach is and how many people know of what we are. And then just that, going forward next year, we're looking forward to working with the new people. I'm excited about what we're going to be able to do. And, I guess, the last piece was just, reiterating what everyone else said about what a great team we had and hoping that tomorrow will be good. Thanks, guys. Oh, and what was I going to say? Oh, the sign issue, it's being taken care of. So, again, I talked to Scott. So the signs that are down and blown down are going back up. Do we know anything about the Granada Hills Christmas Parade ones? They're still up? Who does that? That's Chamber, right?
John, but he's left.
Okay, because they're still there. There's one right across the street from my place.
You're supposed to take them down. They're
Yeah.
only supposed to be up for
People are always, you know what's funny? Outreach-wise, people are always going over to me. They're like, hey, why are the Christmas signs still up, Jet? That's what you guys come to me for? It's like, those are the calls I get. Random people in Granada Hills. Hey, what are those Christmas signs doing there?
Next year.
Yeah, I'm working on it, exactly. I'm like, I'll get up to call and do it right now. That's it. I'm done.
The company that owns them should take them down because they use them every year. So
Yeah,
something
yeah.
is wrong at their
They
end.
missed that one.
They had a fire at their facility just before the parade. That
Oh my
has
goodness.
something to do with
Oh,
it.
that's not good.
Mr. Dosh?
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Dave and I'd like to thank the board members that are leaving for your volunteer hours and time
Yes.
that you put in. This is all about being a volunteer and time. And Dave, I cannot tell you how many hours you must put in weekly on all of this. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anthony?
Also want to thank the board members for leaving, especially Dave. I know I've only been on the board this is my first time, but I know what a great influence you've been, and I personally have just learned a huge amount from you. And I don't want to hex anything, but I do want to point out that I don't know what this challenge is, but if it doesn't get resolved, you guys are all on the board for an extra month. Fingers crossed on that one.
Rest assured, I will be leaning on both Kevin and Glenn to get this resolved as quickly as possible. Brandon?
I don't know, I have to reiterate a lot of the same sentiment that everyone else has already conveyed. I think, Dave, you run these meetings very well. I think you've been a good leader. I think you've been a good representation of what we do here. I think that your skills, your profession exude what it is that I'm just so great about how you run these meetings. I just have I think we once discussed how we should come up with a mutually
Admiration Society?
Yes, that's it. Yes. I just think you're great. I think we're going to be very missed.
Thank you. Brad?
Professional. There's no easy way to say this, but I've been very fortunate in serving on this organization and serving with two excellent presidents, Dave and Jim. And I have to say, Dave, you will be missed, and I hope you stay as involved in everything else that you do here in the community, and we see you at as many meetings as you can stand and come to.
Thank you. And I'm going to, thank you, Brett. I'm going to, stay in turn here and let the three guys to my right finish up. But I am going to say this. Thank you all. I will say this again. This has been the best board of all the boards that I've served on, without a doubt. You guys have gotten along great, gotten a lot of business taken care of, and really taken care of the community, and I appreciate that. I want to just thank, first of all, the outgoing people